call, please.
Ron Van Kirk,
Here.
Kathy Pucci,
Here.
Mary Belbeer,
Here.
Kevin Tansky,
Here.
Andy Selhertz,
Here.
Katie Gallagher,
Here.
Tony DeMarco.
Here.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance Okay, first up, we have the approval of the minutes from November 23rd, 2014. Need a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
To approve, Ron Van Kirk,
Yes.
Kathy Pucci,
I'm going to abstain on the minutes tonight. I was out of town most of the week and then back out of town over the weekend, so that's the only thing I did not get a chance to, and that was read the minutes. So I'm going to abstain.
Mary Belbeer,
Abstain.
Kevin Tansky,
Yes.
Andy Selhertz,
Yes.
Katie Gallagher,
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Okay, and then I need a motion to approve minutes from December 8th, 2014.
Motion to approve. Second.
To approve, Ron Van Kirk,
Abstain.
Kathy Pucci,
Abstain.
excuse me, Mary Belbeer,
Abstain.
Kevin Tansky,
Yes.
Andy Selhertz,
Yes.
Katie Gallagher,
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll now proceed with our normal council meeting. On tonight's agenda, it's fairly short. We have a request to advertise for construction of closure of the sanitary landfill. Civil and environmental consultants, INC, will prepare the bid specifications. We also have the 2015 annual appropriations. We have interfund transfers and advances during 2015. We have an ordinance to authorize a contract with Rick Del Rosa to provide health-based sessions and small group classes at the John M. Coyne Recreation Center. Rick Del Rosa has a degree of sports physiology from Cleveland State and has designed his own program called Blameless Body Fitness LLC. They would partner with the Recreation Center to provide classes for fat loss and joint pain relief and prevention training, free informative sessions, and small group classes. Classes and sessions will range in the cost from $5 to $25 an hour and be 15 minutes to an hour in length, dependent upon the type of chosen. There shall be a monthly payment to the city of 20%. And this is going to be on first reading tonight. We also have an ordinance to purchase 3 vehicles for the use by the police department from Bob Gillingham Ford in the amount of $81,576 from the State Cooperative Purchasing Program. These are 2 2015 Ford Interceptor sedans and 1 2015 Ford Interceptor utility. We also have an ordinance to renew our contract with Bailey Communications for maintenance, network, software, and support. They provide desktop, server, consulting, long-range planning, assistance, and miscellaneous network support to the city. This is at an annual cost of $49,182.60. And it includes 2 days on-site technicians, 12 hours per week, and a total of 590 hours per year. And lastly, we have an ordinance to approve a contract with the City of Cleveland for the use of the Ridge Road Transfer Station for the disposal of solid waste. This is a 2-year contract that may end with 30-day notice by either party. It is at $42.29 per ton, which is actually the same rate as last year. At this time, we'll have the public session. If anyone has anything for the good and welfare of the city of Brooklyn, please step forward, state your name and address, including city, and please keep your comments to 5 minutes or less.
Bonnie Barczyk, Brooklyn School Board Vice President, 4831 Ridge Road, Brooklyn, Ohio. This past weekend, the Brooklyn High School held the annual spring musical. This year, the production was Cinderella. We had over 1,400 tickets sold to the 4 performances. Thank you to all those who came to the play. donated and helped in any way, make this an experience our students won't forget. Congratulations to the staff and students on the great job that they did. We also held our third annual Support Our Schools Spaghetti Dinner. Thank you to everyone who came and to all those who donated a basket, helped at the event, and made it such a success. We really appreciate it. I would also like to congratulate the Brooklyn Junior Canes girls 5th and 6th grade basketball team. They won their championship game on Saturday, 13-12. We have a renewal levy on the May ballot. Please consider our students and their future and the future of our city when casting your vote. Again, this is a renewal and no new money. Please vote yes on issue 1. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Good evening, David Coor, 4544 Memphis Village South, Assistant Scoutmaster for Boy Scout Troop 319. Last week we were here with with 7 gentlemen working on the Citizenship and the Community Merit Badge, and tonight 2 more gentlemen from the troop are here to observe City Council in action and the government process and work, and so they will be here once again observing. And as always, we thank the firefighters for their support. And with me, I also have Mrs. Hankey, a member of the troop committee tonight. Since we're sort of out of assistant scoutmasters, that just happens sometimes. And I too went to the play this weekend, and it was a great time. And the students all did a great job, and the city has a lot to be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have anything for the good and welfare of the city of Brooklyn? Okay, we'll move on to reports of committees, commissions, and boards. And first up is Councilwoman Pucci for Finance and Economic Development.
Good evening. I apologize that we were a little bit late getting in. We did start our Finance Committee meeting a little earlier to accommodate the topics we needed to discuss, but we did run over a little bit. The Finance Committee recommended the following items that are on our agenda this evening. Authorizing the advertising for bids for the construction of the closure of the landfill, and that's estimated at approximately $4 million. For ordinance 2015-5, which is our annual appropriations, there was a 2-to-1 vote not to recommend adopting the permanent budget this evening, and I'm sure each individual council member will give their own views on this. Ordinance 2015-6, authorizing interfund transfers and advances. At first, there was a 2-to-1 vote against adopting this, and then after some discussion, there was a revote, and it did pass 2-to-1 after that. Ordinance 2015-16 on first reading, the contract with Mr. De La Rosa for the health-based sessions at the rec center. We had a little bit of discussion about him naming the city on his insurance and the fact that he needs to get a current insurance certificate as it expires the end of the month. Ordinance 2015-17, we recommend passing by emergency measure this evening. That's the purchase of our 3 police vehicles. If we get the order in now, it actually takes till July to get them in. And that's for a total of $81,576. There will be an additional, I believe it's about $35,000 in ancillary equipment once we get the vehicles in. On first reading this evening is our agreement with Bailey Communications. This is for the IT support, and that represents no increase. Ordinance 2015-19, we recommended passing by emergency measure this evening. This is our agreement with the City of Cleveland for the use of their landfill. That represents no increase. And the status of our contract with the schools for a school resource office, the police chief has, through gathering contracts that other communities have, put a proposal together. Our law director is reviewing it right now. He anticipates getting it to the schools in the next couple days for their review, and then we'll go back and forth from there. The mayor is going to be providing us in the next couple days his proposal for wage increases for the non-bargaining unit employees that we have. That completes my report for the Finance Committee. Next, I'm going to move on to Economic Development Committee. We had a meeting last Wednesday, March 4th at 10 a.m. in the conference room. We approved the following minutes from June 4th, June 27th with an amendment, and September 17th. First, I want to say that Mr. Enovich invited our municipal advisor, Mr. Matt Stasinski, to attend and participate in our meeting, and it was very informative, and I thank Mr. Enovich for taking this step. We will be scheduling an Economic Development Committee work session to review our current agreements, discuss policies, finalizing the draft of our new agreement template, and additionally, we will explore options for structuring future development projects in the city. The following topics were discussed in our meeting. We discussed 2 potential projects for job retention / creation grants to offset capital investments, and the fact that we are going to have to decide whether these particular circumstances, whether we need to provide incentives for this project or not. We discussed another potential project and asked our Economic Development Director to go back to the business who had approached us to get a little bit more specific information on exactly what they're asking us for. We had an update on the Opinionation property, which we had tied our corner parcel at the corner of Ridge and Memphis to hopefully attract, a certain type of buyer. However, only the Opinionation property was sold, and that was to Today's Dentistry, which is actually already located in the city of Brooklyn. They're basically moving across the street from where they're located now into the Opinionation property. We had an update on Menards. They were issued their demolition permit. They decided to flip-flop the layout, so they are going to have to resubmit drawings, and we're going to have to determine whether or not they have to go back before the Planning Commission or not. Mr. Selhertz asked about landscaping from the perspective of Idlewood, and there were no provisions made for this. However, we were informed that there will be a more decorative fence. It won't be that wall like Kmart had. We did ask our Economic Development Director to get an update from Clean Life Energy, which was one of the businesses we provided a grant to. And I asked for an update on Vendors Exchange, whether they had pursued an application for assistance, and they have not. And I also asked about Blue Jay. Blue Jay Communications. They are moved in and up and running in the city. Mr. Enovich brought up the fact that he is going to need a little bit more information when he prepares estimates for what our revenue will be like in 16 and 17, based on the fact that American Greetings will be leaving. I made a suggestion that he contact the CFO from American Greetings and see if we can reach out to them, open the lines of communication once again, so that hopefully they will be willing to provide us with at least some general information to assist us as we plan for our budget for next year. And that completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I
Next
be
up-
recognized real quick?
Yes.
Yes.
Could you have Fran send out the minutes that were approved from Economic Development? And do you have any idea why it takes like 8 or 9 months for a set of minutes to get approved, or?
Well, this is our first meeting that we've had since the fall, but I've stated in the past, we do not need to wait until they're approved to send them out to council, as long as they're clearly marked draft. I don't see why council, can't get them right away, as long as the draft watermark is on there, so everyone who's getting them recognizes that they have not been reviewed and approved yet.
Mayor, I'm just saying, she was up here several months ago and said we would get them, and it's now March, and we don't have them.
She told me she was sending them out.
Okay.
I'll check with her.
I can send them to you also.
Next up is Recreation Board, Mr. Tansky.
Thank you. The Brooklyn Recreation Department is inviting local businesses to participate in the City of Brooklyn's Youth Sports Sponsorship Program. For a small sponsorship fee of $200 per activity or sport, the name of your business will be featured on the youth team activity shirt. Sponsorship forms are available at the Brooklyn Recreation Center, 7600 Memphis Avenue. If anyone is interested in becoming a sponsor for any sport and activity in our city, please call 216-351-5334 to obtain a sponsorship form, or go to www.brooklynohio.gov/recreation. Response deadline for summer baseball sponsorship is April 13th. Mail forms and sponsorship fee to Maria McGinty, care of Brooklyn Recreation Center, 7600 Memphis Avenue, 44144. Please include check number. Political advertisements are prohibited, i.e. elect, re-elect, or vote for. Summer Youth Baseball. Registration began on March 8th and will run through March 28th during regular business hours. Copy of birth certificate is required at time of registration. Prices are $50 for participants who reside in the city of Brooklyn, current resident ID card required. $60 for residents who do not reside in the city of Brooklyn but attend a school in the city of Brooklyn, proof of school required, i.e. school report card or school ID card. $70 for non-residents, $45 for 3 and 4-year-olds. For more information, go to youthbaseball@brooklynohio.gov. Season starts late May to early June. The Brooklyn Recreation Department Learn to Swim lessons are a great way for kids of all ages to get exercise and have fun. Swimming lessons will calm your child's water fears, teach them life-saving skills, and build confidence. We offer swimming lessons at a minimal cost. Our program is run in accordance with the American Red Cross, and all of our teachers are certified water safety instructors. Spring registration has begun. Classes start March 8th and will run until May 6th. Residents Learn to Swim, $50. Swim team, $65. Non-residents Learn to Swim, $65. Swim team, $90. Parma Heights Partnership Learn to Swim, $57.50. Swim team, $77.50. Swim team will take place on Monday and Wednesday nights, 7 to 8 p.m., beginning March 9th. For more information on learning to swim, please call the John M. Coyne Recreation Center, 216-351-5334. Learn to Skate Spring registration is currently going on. The costs are: residents $35 plus $12 USFS fee equals $47. Non-residents $50 plus $12 USFS fee equals $62. Parma Heights $42 plus $12 USFS fee $54 equals $54. Classes for the 8-week program begin in March. The Brooklyn Easter Egg Hunt will take place on Saturday, March 28th at 11 a.m. Registration begins at 10:30 a.m. Residents, children 6 and under, bring a basket to collect eggs. The next Recreation Board meeting will be held on Monday, March 16th in the Rec Center meeting room at 7 p.m. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next up is legislative update, Councilwoman Balbier.
Thank you. An Ohio Senate bill caught my attention because of all we have heard about the post-traumatic stress disorder. We usually think about it in terms of our military. It came into our consciousness primarily after the Vietnam War, but we now know it was rampant after World War II, but it wasn't really identified. With Vietnam, and especially now with Afghanistan and Iraq, we are much more knowledgeable of it. But post-traumatic stress disorder is not confined to our armed forces personnel. Senate Bill 5 seeks to allow peace officers and firefighters diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder arising from their employment, even without an accompanying physical injury, to be eligible for compensation and benefits under the Ohio Workers' Compensation Law. The Ohio Senate Transportation Committee voted to pass the bill to the full Senate floor. This was sponsored by my dear friend, Senator Tom Patton of Strongsville, and Senator Edna Brown of Toledo. This is the same legislation as Senate Bill 252 from the last General Assembly, which last year passed the Senate by a 30-1 count, but died in the House last year. The Senate is expected to once again overwhelmingly pass it, but the House seems to be less supportive than the Senate. So, workers' comp for police and firemen for post-traumatic stress disorder arising out of employment? We'll just have to see if it's passed. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Next up, Board of Zoning Appeals, Building Commissioner Colsar.
Thank you. The Zoning Board of Appeals meeting that was scheduled for March 19th has been canceled due to lack of applications. Thank you. Concludes my report.
On Thursday, March 5th at 6 p.m., the Planning Commission met and passed a request from Rough Neon and Lighting Maintenance Incorporated to install an illuminated wall-mounted sign with channel letters for business identification of Intermodal 1 LLC located at 8215 Clinton Road, permanent parcel 431-14002. Next up is the Public Works Committee and School Board Liaison, Councilman Selhertz.
Thank you. On Public Works, just a quick update on the 2015 roads program. We are on schedule. Bids went out on 2/26 and also on March 5th. As of this past Friday, we've had 7 contractors who have purchased plans. The bids are supposed to be open on this coming Friday on the 13th, and we'll see how many of the 7 actually want to participate in the roads program for Brooklyn for 2015. That concludes my Public Works portion. For schools, congratulations to Austin Guter for signing his national letter of intent to attend Ashland University for football. He will be joining Damon Jackson, who also signed his national letter of intent to play football at Ashland University earlier. As Bonnie mentioned, the Junior Canes girls team won their whatever their conference title this past weekend. The team was coached by John Verba, Rachel Verba, and Vernon Cutright. The boys team came in second. They were also coached by Vernon Cutright, Aaron David, and John Schneer. It's good to see that they're having success at this early age, and hopefully it just kind of builds and trends up into the middle school and high school. Will your child be 5 by September 30th, 2015? If yes, it's time to register for kindergarten. Registration is ongoing from March through July. Registration packets can be obtained at the Board of Education office located at 9200 Bidoff Road or by downloading one from the school website at www.brooklyn.k12.oh.us. Registration is by appointment only. Call 216-485-8112 to set up your appointment. The Board of Education held a special meeting on Monday, March 1st, 2015 at 6 p.m. in room 173. This meeting was in regards to the curriculum management audit for Brooklyn City Schools that was performed by Lynn F. Zinn, a doctorate in education. The meeting was a live meeting via Skype with Dr. Zinn. The objective of the audit is to look at how well the school system is delivering teaching and learning to its students. There were 5 audit standards which consisted of 1, control, 2, direction, 3, equality, connectivity, 4, feedback and assessment, and 5, productivity and resource use. The meeting lasted about an hour and was interactive with some questions at the end. It was taped and will be played on a local television channel. The actual report is about 200 pages in length. The school board will work on making information available also on the school website. In the meeting, various audit findings were discussed and explained. The Board of Education held a special meeting on Tuesday, March 2nd, 2015 at 6:10 p.m. in the Treasurer's office. At this meeting were the school board members and the firm involved with the search for the new school superintendent. The meeting started at 6:10 and went immediately into executive session. This Wednesday on March 11th at 7 p.m. in the high school auditorium will be a music concert with performances by the high school choirs and bands. The next board meeting is Tuesday, March 17th, 2015 in room 173 at the high school at 6 p.m. Public is welcome and encouraged to attend as your school system for your children. One last note, Brooklyn Youth Bowling. There will be for $25 and all you can drink and all you can eat wings, hot dogs, chili, hand-cut fries, pasta, marinara, and veggie stir-fry. It's for a 50-50 raffle, sideboards, baskets, other prizes. This year they'll be going to Chicago for a national tournament. It's going to be sponsoring many of our current and future Brooklyn high school kids. For now, they have a Brooklyn Bowling Club. It's not actually a varsity team. If you're interested, it's once again on March 21st at Bleachers Sports Club in Ridge Road in Parma. You can call Cindy at 440-596-9005 for tickets. That concludes my report.
Thank you. We will now move on to reports of council. This evening, we begin with Ron Van Kirk.
Thank you, Mrs. Gallagher. First, like to welcome again Assistant Scoutmaster David. Welcome again tonight. Thanks for bringing some of your boys along with us as well. My wife and I had a privilege this last Saturday of attending Cinderella at the Brooklyn Auditorium, and we thoroughly enjoyed the first-rate music, the hard work of all involved. There is a lot of musical talent in this city, and it was very much on display in this performance. And I want to say congratulations to all the cast, crew, and staff on a job well done. We caught the final performance, and I always like seeing the final performance because they let it all go in that last performance, and the ending was phenomenal, and just a great job. It was a lot of fun. Many of you have also seen the new report about, or another report about the city and police department flooding because of a sewer backup again. I want to once again thank our service department for responding quickly to the mess and getting a company out here to clean it up. I also want to question whoever it is that keeps reporting these things to the news media every time we have an issue with a sewage backup in the building. I would understand if we were being lax on repairing the problems or ignoring them altogether. However, to my knowledge, this has not been the case. The city has been upfront with the continued issues that we're having, and we are correcting them as they come up. Having a sewer backup is not news. It happens frequently. I mean, obviously it's happened too many times here, but it's not news. Casting Brooklyn in a bad light through the news media because of a sewer backup does nothing to solve any problem or situation. We are working diligently for temporary solutions to upkeep the aging building as well as drafting plans to build a new station. I do understand the frustration and the continued problems, but to be honest with you, complaining about it and pointing fingers accomplishes nothing productive. Unless I'm missing something, and if I am, please let me know. The continued reporting of these types of issues does nothing to solve anything. If I am missing something that has not been addressed, please feel free to contact me so we can solve whatever issue I'm missing. My phone number is 216-965-5737. As chair of the safety committee, we have the ability to begin the execution of action to solve a problem. The news media does not have that ability. Now, with these thoughts in mind, we met this Friday, February 27th, with the architect for the needs assessment for our new police station. We began discussing a plan of attack on getting the station built. We met for about an hour, and we began the preliminary process of laying the groundwork for the new station, how we're going to go about the process. The meeting included the process with Horn and King. It was followed up by some dialogue on the various department needs and challenges. At the conclusion of the meeting, the architects met with our Police Chief Melky and Sergeant Knapp to begin discussing the specific needs of the new station. On March the 20th, Horn and King will be back once again to conduct some more interviews with various employees that work in that department, and they hope, if everything goes well, to be able to tie up their needs assessment and have that completed by the end of April. Obviously, this timeline is flexible, but as of right now, that is the tentative date. I want to thank our police chief and Sergeant Knapp once again for their continued work on this process and for their patience and what's going on down there. For the continued safety of all residents and the employees of all our fine businesses in Brooklyn, a new station is needed that must be addressed in the near future. Regarding the budget that is being proposed tonight, I'm not going to rehash my comments that I made in the last council meeting. I stated then why I am against this, and those comments stand. If anyone has any questions on my particular reasoning for this, was not able to see that, you can feel free to contact me. I've already given you my phone number. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next up, Kathy Pucci.
Thank you. First, a big thank you to the volunteers who worked on the spaghetti dinner fundraiser for the school renewal levy. They did a wonderful job, and thank you also to those who donated door prizes. There were some very nice donations that attendees were able to purchase tickets for. You will be hearing more about the renewal as it gets closer to the election in May. I would also like to say congratulations and thanks to everyone involved in the school production of the musical Cinderella. We went on Friday night, and it was an absolutely wonderful evening. The cast, crew, pit orchestra, parents, music boosters, teacher, and staff who were involved, they all did a fabulous job. It was a packed house. They've been working for months, and their hard work really paid off. Thank you for bringing our community together for such a wonderful event. Last meeting, I reported on the Beautify Brooklyn initiative, and in looking to see if there was any grant money out there, I came across a grant that could pay for the expense of our Community Shred Day, which is going to be Saturday, May 2nd. I proposed it to Mr. Verba, and that he also attach this to a communication piece on recycling. We received word last week that we did receive the grant for $3,185. Thank you, Mr. Verba, for following up on this. I appreciate it. We also are going to be moving forward. I think the mayor might give a little report on this. We have partnered with Big Creek Connects and the City of Cleveland to apply for a Transportation for Living Community Planning Grant for Big Creek, an I-71 relocation and restoration initiative. We've reported on this in the past. This will provide the funding, if we're awarded the grant, to study the feasibility. There are some potential benefits to the city of Brooklyn, so hopefully we'll be able to move forward with that. I believe we'll have something on our agenda the next meeting. Regarding the most recent sewer backup, thank you again to the service department, and also thanks to the police department for their patience. It's not a good environment to be working in when something like this happens, and we understand how trying the situation is and thank them for their patience. Mr. Clausen, quick question for you, just to kind of piggyback on what Mr. Van Kirk brought up. Do we have something in our policy and procedure manual that governs employees speaking to the media? Are you aware of anything, or if you're not, maybe we could look that up?
I know that, I don't know if there's a specific provision in the policy manual, but I do know that there have been directives given that they shouldn't speak to the media, that it should come through the mayor's office.
The proper
or my
channels?
office, yes.
Okay, thank you. I know if you could mention maybe to Kevin Shabesta, looking about incorporating that. Most entities do have that addressed in their policy manual. So, right, if we don't have it, I know that we're revising it, so that's something we need to take a look at, and I'm sure he'll be able to guide us with his expertise. Thank you. I, too, attended the planning meeting for the new police station, and I thank everyone who's been involved. It was kind of nice to see. I recognized the gentleman from the consulting agency. He's actually the same person who worked on this when we looked at it back in 2008. I know that there was an idea thrown out there about possibly knocking down City Hall, you know, while we were at it with the police station, and I have said before that I am totally in favor of looking at our buildings, doing a needs assessment, both on are we utilizing our space as effectively as we can, and also trying to get a handle on future repair costs. But an undertaking of that magnitude, I would be very cautious of at this particular time. Police station, we are in desperate need of. But I would just caution people against the possibility of knocking everything down. Congratulations also to the junior Canes, both the boys and girls. And lastly, welcome to Mr. Kerr and the members of PAC 319. And also, thank you to our firefighters, because our firefighters, their local union, they have taken it upon themselves to sponsor this troop, and I know that they're actively involved. So thank you to our firefighters for that. That completes my report.
Thank you. Next up, Mary Belbeer.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did forget one thing. Can I go back?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I apologize. I do want to state my personal opinion on something going on with the budget. You know, there are a couple minor issues that I think can be resolved. However, one of the sticking points is, should we have two fully equipped engines? And there's various arguments back and forth, but I'm going to weigh in with my 2 cents. In order to have a backup engine, we've got to have them fully equipped. So the plan is, we're getting a new engine, we're going to equip it with new equipment, take the current equipment that is on our frontline engine right now, put it on a backup engine. I know it started out more expensive. I think the chief took another look at it, and it's now been whittled down to about $73,000. I understand the argument that on a day-to-day basis, we don't have the personnel to man 2 engines plus the squads. However, the reason to have a second engine equipped is for situations when we call in off-duty personnel and/or we're called for mutual aid to respond to one of our mutual aid partners, and then we also call our own personnel in to backfill so that our city has staff and equipment to protect it. Another issue is our ISO rating, which we just attained a number 2. This directly impacts the insurance that our residents pay, but also it more dramatically impacts the insurance rates that our business pay. And our chief has advised us that when they came in and did their assessment, in order to attain this rating, he had to sign an affidavit. We had the engine on order. He had to sign an affidavit saying that when we got it in, we would have 2 fully equipped engines. A couple other reasons where we would use a backup engine is if the new engine goes out for either warranty work or if there's a breakdown. These are not hypothetical situations. They do occur. I know we had, I think there was a fire on Clinton just in the last couple weeks, and then we had another call come in. And I understand that because of the age of our 3rd engine that we traded in, because we basically couldn't fix it anymore, that we have been running without a backup engine. I also understand that we need to cut expenses, and I had proposed going back to 2013 levels in looking at our other expenses, which are non-wage and benefit. But I personally do not believe that something that impacts the safety of our community should be the place that we start. And that does complete my report. Thank you for your indulgence.
Mary, you ready?
Thank you, thank you. Well, I'd like to congratulate once again Cinderella and the entire staff at the Brooklyn High School. They did a fabulous job. John Coyne III played the prince, and Sarah Hugel played the princess, and they were marvelous. I would have to say that this production was equal to, I'm not going to say Broadway, I'm going to say college-level performance. Let's say BW. But yes, once again, it was a wonderful, wonderful evening. The cast was fabulous, the crew, the music department, and once again, the parents. The parents made it possible. I had gone there a little bit earlier to drop some cookies off for the kids because they were just awesome, those kids, the way they performed. And I saw the parents milling around. They brought lunches. They were selling trinkets and candy and crowns, and they had a photo booth. You know, the parents really made it happen. It was just really, really awesome. And all weekend, I ended up humming, "It's Possible." So when my husband asked me something, I said, "It's possible." But